You are welcome to Vedic TV, where you get information based on fact.
Babangida reveals shocking reason why Murtala Muhammed was assassinated. Hello everyone, welcome back to another day on our channel. Thank you so much for always tuning in. Really appreciate. God bless you. Today's news is on Muhammad Murtala Muhammad assassination and Babangida coming out to tell us reasons or the reason why he was killed, why the man was assassinated as of then. So, without much further ado, let's get into the news. The assassination of Major General Murtala Mohammed on February 13, 1976, was not a sudden or random act, but the result of growing tension that has been brewing since he assumed office in 1975. According to former military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the seeds of the plot against Mohammed were planted the moment he rejected a power-sharing agreement proposed by senior military officers. His refusal to accept a triumvirate leadership structure, which would have required him to share authority with Brigadiers Olusegun Obasanjo and Theophilus Danjuma, led to discontent among some of the members of the military and set the stage for his eventual assassination. In his recent published autobiography, A Journey in Service, Babangida provides insights into the internal struggle that shaped the government following the coup that removed General Yakubu Gowon from power. Many young military officers had played a crucial role in the overthrow of Gowon and believed that the new administration should be governed through collective leadership rather than a single individual's command. Their concerns stemmed from the belief that Gowon had exercised too much personal control over government affairs, a perception that fueled the desire for a more balanced distribution of power. On the night of the coup, a meeting was convened at Dondan Barracks, where senior military figures gathered to discuss the structure of the new government. Some officers suggested that while Brigadier Murtala Mohammed should assume the position of head of state, he should not wield absolute power. Instead, they proposed a system where he would be first among equals, making decisions in consultation with Obasanjo and Danjuma. The idea was that the three men would work together, ensuring that no single leader had unchecked authority. To persuade Mohammed, a few senior officers, including Colonel M.I. Wushishi and Lieutenant Colonels Joe Gaba, Abdullahi Mohammed and Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, led negotiations behind closed doors. While the rest of the young officers waited outside, they attempted to convince him to accept the power-sharing arrangement rather. However, their efforts proved futile. Mohammed reacted with strong opposition, making it clear that he had no intention of sharing control with anyone. His firm rejection of the proposal was evident to those outside the room, as they could hear his raised voice forcefully dismissing the idea. The discussions continued late into the night, but in the end he insisted that he would lead as head of state without being accountable to any group or individual. Once in power, Mohammed wasted no time in asserting his authority. The very next day, he initiated a sweeping restructuring of the government, announcing the compulsory retirement of high-ranking officers, particularly those who held senior positions before his administration took over. His decision led to the sudden removal of some of the most powerful figures in the military, police, and civil service. These retirements were followed by a series of new appointments, with Muhammad strategically selecting officers who aligned with his vision for the country. He sought to create a leadership team that would not challenge his authority, ensuring that his government operated according to his directive without opposition from within. Beyond the military, his administration introduced dramatic reforms that extended into the civil service. One of the most controversial decisions of his tenure was the mass dismissal of top civil servants, a move that sent shockwaves through the country. Thousands of experienced officers were suddenly forced out of their positions, leading to a significant shift in how government institutions functioned. At the same time, he ordered an investigation into the activities of the 12 military governors who had served under Gowon, signaling his determination to hold past officials accountable for their actions in office. While these measures earned him public admiration, they also created enemies within the military and government. Many of those affected by his policies saw his leadership style as too authoritarian and resented the abrupt change he was making. Despite the opposition he faced, Muhammad's leadership gained widespread support among ordinary Nigerians. His bold decision making his bold decision making and no nonsense approach resonated with citizens who had grown frustrated with corruption and inefficiency in government. People admired his willingness to take decisive action, and his administration was seen as one that prioritized national interest over personal gain. However, this growing popularity among the public did not shield him from the growing hostility within the ranks of the military. The rapid pace of his reform combined with his unwillingness to share power fueled resentment among those who felt sidelined or threatened by his leadership. Well, my people, you guys have heard it. So, due to one reason or other, for Muhammad refusing to share authority with the people instead of just being head of state and not having full control, this was the reason why he was assassinated and killed. Well, I guess that is all we have for today. Thank you so much for always tuning in. Have a wonderful day ahead of you. God bless you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Bye.